In offensive and defensive, each week you can, once you've made your game plan, choose to start training. Now let's take a minute to see how you can improve your team.
Two veteran quarterbacks looking for a return to the playoffs.
Coach, a very warm day outside by Minnesota standards, but then again, it is still summer. Either way, the AC is working just fine at U.S. Bank Stadium in the Twin Cities. Today, it's the opener of a new NFL season between the Atlanta Falcons and the Minnesota Vikings. Short kick here, fielded about the 17. And a nifty return there as he's all the way up past the 40-yard line.
The Vikings take over first and 10 at their own 41-yard line.
Let's pick it up. It's out of time, guys. Out of time. Let's get off the field. Let's get off the field.
Here's Dalvin Cook, third year back from Florida State. And not much there at all. Maybe a yard up to the 43.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. It's a loss of 2, now third down.
I like the idea to mix it up from time to time because, let's face it, you can't be predictable. But the execution was a little lacking on this one, right? They might want to go back to the drawing board with that call.
Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop.
There's an example of good situational football being played by a defense. They understood where the third down play was, the down and distance, and made sure they didn't get anywhere near that, bringing up fourth down.
Yeah, they were sniffing out that marker, didn't want to let him get close to there, and now a likely 3 and out to start.
Yeah, I love the way they rallied to the football and got to him and made sure he didn't give up much run after catch.
Wide 20. Be a long day for you. Hey, check it.
Now the third leading rusher in the NFL last year, Todd Gurley, gets this to the 24 for a gain of 4.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable second down, a very solid gain on that play.
Now a play fake, Brady. And nearly an interception here on their opening drive. But instead, third down.
Oh, man, that was close. The opportunity to change momentum, big play, right in his hands, unable to come down with it.
A sigh of relief, no doubt, on offense if that fell harmlessly to the ground. And he takes this up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. It's a gain of 16, first down, Falcons.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. And if that continues, it'll be a long afternoon for those guys trying to play some defense.
Looking for more there on first down, but this throw downfield incomplete. Brady's incompletion on first down leads to a 2nd and 10. On the handoff, it's Gurley. And this play will be blown up. He'll lose yardage back at the 38. That backs him up 1 yard and brings up third down.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level, because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat.
The Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack. Oh, free safety blitz. That can be a gamble, but it proves fruitful there.
Yeah, you're exactly right about the gamble, because oftentimes the free safety is the last line of defense against a long pass. And when he comes at the quarterback, he better get home and make the play. Otherwise, a big play could result for the offense.
Now punter Bosher on now as he gets this one away.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Now the Vikings offense gets set to take over here. And a 3-and-out on that first drive. We'll see if they can do better here.
They should have a better opportunity because the nerves should be settled now. That first series, everybody goes out with a little extra emotion. So now they get a chance to go back out and say, okay, now we're into the game. Let's go play and play as best we can.
You almost get a mulligan then on that first drive?
Sometimes it absolutely serves that way. You get a second opportunity. Nothing big happened. But then again, you didn't commit any mistakes either. Off you go.
Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be second down.
Early down stuff to put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority one.
Got his target, Pierre Garçon. And they'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for third down.
And you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
Throwing there, but this pass is going to wind up incomplete.
I think the punter might start to get into a pretty good rhythm here if he keeps getting opportunities. But that's the last thing his team wants to have happen, right? The last thing you want to see is your punter feeling pretty good because he's out there all the time.
Yeah, first quarter only, but they're 0 for 2 on third down conversions to start this thing. And a nice job here to down this one right on the 5-yard line. Atlanta now coming out on the field. They're going to have to go at least 50, 60 yards here if they want to ensure that they don't have to punt the ball like they did last time.
Yeah, so what you're saying is we're not playing to just get out of the shadow of your own goal line, right? You're playing to make sure the punter doesn't see the field again. So it's not picking up a couple of first downs. You want to pick up 5 or 6 first downs and make sure you move the ball into their territory.
Play action. Now it's Brady. Got his man complete over the middle. That's Wood. The 40. He's at the 30. 10. Touchdown, Falcons. A big play there. His first NFL reception goes for 6. And the Falcons have taken the early lead. On for the extra point, Giorgio Tavecchio. It's good, and that gives the Falcons a 7-0 lead. The long touchdown pass gets them 6 on a very, very tidy 2-play drive that time. Now after the touchdown, it's Bosher to kick it away. This will be taken in at the 1. Solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32-yard line. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all, and let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on third down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice, so they're furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a first down and change our momentum?
And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. A gain of 32 that time.
It's not a surprise when you read scouting reports and watch tape because you know he's a heck of a player. But he is so difficult to get down in the open field. They just want to get him the ball and let him do his thing.
So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. Give to Cook out of the gun. And they'll get 8 out of this before being stopped at the 28. Trying to get one more in here before the quarter breaks.
I remember the first time I saw Dalvin Cook play in college. I was watching him on TV, called a scouting friend of mine and said, "Who is this guy? He's special." And he said,
and a loose football, and the Falcons grab it. And the return just out across the 15 to the 16-yard line. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. Ready for the second quarter, and it's our visitors with the football as they've got it with a 1st and 10.
Hey, set. Alabama, 380. 55. 3 bud.
And caught right side, Green. No gain there on the completion, 2nd and 10.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly. The throw on 2nd down by Brady is incomplete. He was looking for his favorite target, A.J. Green, that time. And it's 3rd down.
I know our vantage point might be a little bit better way up here, but that looked like an ill-advised throw to me. I didn't see anything open, and this play just didn't look right from the beginning.
It did not. I thought he might get outside and just chuck it away. Dangerous pass, incomplete.
How about this offense already feeling good about themselves with a touchdown already in their first drive? They've certainly come out firing, even though that one was incomplete.
With the 7-0 lead, more apt to take a shot like that downfield?
Hey, you're one to the good. Go ahead and try and press your advantage.
Here's Matt Bosher now, standing just outside his own goal line. Taken from just outside the 30. Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And the Vikings will take over here, 1st and 10. A reminder coming up later tonight, the Patriots unfurl their 6 banners. They play host to their rival Steelers. And then on Monday night, that's the one weekend of the year where you get 2 games to wrap up the week. Texans and Saints from New Orleans in the early game, then Broncos and Raiders. Vic Fangio's coach. Now the hit comes, and Cousins lost the football.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back, because this is a quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
After the sack, they're staring at a challenge basically from the other side of town. It's 2nd and a country mile. Throwing, Cousins, incomplete. Tight end Irv Smith, the intended receiver. And that'll make it 3rd down.
The goal of anyone running a curl route is to make sure you try to get defenders on your back and shield them away from the football. But sometimes even when you run a good route, the defense finds a way to knock it away.
Now a shot taken on 3rd down, but it's going to wind up incomplete.
And what did we talk with them about prior to the game? Their ability to move the chains, pick up 1st downs. So far, 0 for 3 on 3rd down. If that continues, they'll have little chance of winning this one.
Here's Matt Weil now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. A good kick, 48 yards, 4 on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Here comes the Atlanta offense now ready to take over here. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of 1st downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. Now, meanwhile, the throw by Brady knocked away, incomplete. Coverage there by the safety, Harrison Smith. Charles, he doesn't seem to be particularly in tune with his receivers, just 2 for 7 throwing the football, but he did seem really locked in before the game.
Yeah, and that has to do with receivers sometimes. Sometimes the defenders knock them off their routes, and you're usually pretty precise. 1, 2, 3 cut, balls out of his hands to the receiver. In this case, might be off by a half step either way. They've got to find a way to get back in sync. And this is why trying to cover the angle route is so difficult. Anyone playing the linebacker position, when they see a running back out of the backfield widen because he heads towards the flat first, oftentimes you widen too much and overcommit. He cuts up inside, and that's what we saw there. A nice pickup for a first down.
From Viking territory now, they'll come up 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. Working from the gun, it's Brady. And it's caught over the middle, Hooper. And he'll be brought down at the 45-yard line.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6. Brady's throw there complete. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. 12 yards there and a first down.
I got a kick out of that one, partner. You and I talk often about trying to hide receivers in certain situations, but a guy of his size can't really hide him. But the tight end drag route, definitely an effective way to sneak him across the formation for an easy completion and a first down.
Looking back to the air on 2nd down, it's Brady. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete. Trey Waynes, the Michigan State man, right there in coverage. So back-to-back incompletions. 3rd down here and 10, but you're still in field goal range.
And that's the thing to keep in mind. They're in field goal range. So now you don't take any unnecessary risks, but you try and find a way to get back to what you were doing earlier in the drive in order to finish this one off.
A good pickup there, a 22. And finding Edelman underneath, that's a recipe for success.
Typical route for a good slot receiver, and Edelman's one of the best in the game. Knows how to go inside what one of my college coaches used to call the briar patch. Got to go in there where it's tough and make those tough catches. And not only can he do it, he can often run away from people after the catch.
Wait, that 53! 54! Set the tone, defense. Set the tone, defense. Let's go. Go, Bandit!
On 1st down, it's Gurley. Down to the 6-yard line on a pickup of 6 as he gets halfway to the goal line.
That's a strong pickup right there on 1st down. And as this drive goes on, we're seeing an offensive line and running game imposing its will.
A run for Nick Chubb. And he will fight his way into the end zone for a Falcon touchdown. A 6-yard touchdown run. And the Falcons will add on to their lead. And on his way to the end zone, shedding the tackle, he would not be denied.
That's what's called finishing the run. Making sure you power your way through. One-on-one tackle. No running back wants to go to the bench and say, I got stopped just short.
Tavecchio good on the extra point, and that'll make the score 14-0. So that drive consumes 9 plays all told. And Nick Chubb the one to finish it off as he does so with a touchdown run. Now after the touchdown, it's Bosher to kick it away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. And now out comes Minnesota. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything, at least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. Off the play fake, Cousins. And he's got the hook up here. It's Kyle Rudolph. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. A gain there of 21 yards.
There are so many things to watch for when you play defense, and reading your keys, you always hear about that, and having your eyes in the right place. Sometimes your eyes can fool you. How about that play action there? And it sprang the big guy, didn't it?
Able to dump it over the top to him. Cousins now 6 of 10 in this first half. He's got his guys a first down here. And they go backwards here, losing yardage back at the 48-yard line. Call it a full 3 yards in the wrong direction there. Brings up second down.
If you're a selfish player and you're throwing the ball, you're cool with the completion. Maybe not so cool with the yardage loss, though, huh?
Yeah, you went backwards on the yardage. Hey, it kind of works like a sack for the defense there.
Yeah, it's a really big play for them, right? Able to figure it out, sniff it out, and finish it off.
On second down, Cook. And a decent gain there as that takes us to the 2-minute warning. It'll be a 5-yard pickup there, so from 2nd and 13, they're back to a more manageable 3rd and 8. We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes, we'll again head down to visit with Jonathan Coachman in Orlando, back for another year. He'll have scores from around the NFL here on this opening weekend. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. Another good completion on the drive as the Vikings have a first down.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. To throw is Cousins. Throw left side on target to Thielen. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. They get 10 more there, and I believe that'll be enough for another first down. It will. Now the throw here complete on the right sideline. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts, as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes this 2nd and 9. Draw play, Cousins to Cook. Cook with a first down and much more. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. A 21-yard touchdown run. And the Vikings have made this now a one-score game. The way this one was going, you just got the sense they needed something before half. They've at least got something on the board now. Still trailing, but a good sign.
That takes me back to our preseason tour of NFL camps. You remember we talked with that one coach who said his emphasis this year was scoring in the last 2 minutes of a half, heading into the locker room. This hits it right there. Take that momentum, take that good feeling, and take the locker room, regroup, and start over. They got it here.
They did indeed. A lot of football, full half to be played. So that drive takes them down the field in 8 plays. And it's capped off by the touchdown run coming from Dalvin Cook. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. This one fielded at the 5. And he'll take this across the 25, couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. Here comes Tom Brady and the Patriot offense back onto the field. He's played a pretty clean first half, a touchdown, no interceptions.
Frankly, that's what they expect out of him. They want to see the ball thrown and thrown well, and he's able to do that and put it in the end zone. They'd love to see more of that before this game finishes. But right now, he's got his team in a good spot.
A good spot, maybe looking for touchdown pass number 2 here in the second quarter. Just a yard on the catch there. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here. And what I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while. Get at least 2 first downs. Give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
Now the Falcons going to use one of their timeouts as they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half. Brady, 8 of 15 through the air, but it's 1st and 10 here. To throw, it's Brady. And Green with a catch left side. And he's got this down to the 35. The Falcons going to use the second of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 33 seconds to go in the first half. Brady now closing in on a 200-yard first half through the air. It's 1st and 10. Again, they'll throw with Brady. And that one's complete to Gurley. And he's going to be out down inside the 20 at the 15. That one good for 20 on the catch and run. And now with that completion, he's north of 200 yards here in the first half.
And he's going to break our statistician Marvin, isn't he? Because Marvin right now is just tallying it up. Hope his hand doesn't hurt too much doing this or keeps hitting the calculator. But my goodness, what a start he is off to. By the end of this game, he could have monster numbers. He just wants to continue to be accurate.
Brady now over 200 yards already in this first half. It's 1st and 10. Into the red zone, it's Brady. And that is caught. Touchdown, Falcons. A 15-yard touchdown grab. And the Falcons will extend their lead. And that'll give them a 2-score lead here, but I'm looking ahead. They just want to hold it for the final moments here in the second quarter. They don't want to give up anything on the other side.
No, not at all, because if they don't, it almost had the feel of an imposing their will score. And right now, they want to make sure they keep that and carry it into the second half.
So a challenge coming down from the booth, and that's where these challenges come from, of course, in the final 2 minutes of the half.
Yeah, now we're going to New York, right? That's command central for the officials. They'll talk, they'll take a look at it, communicate with the referee at the game site, and issue a final decision because they do have the final call now.
Brady's pass complete to Julian Edelman. Touchdown, Atlanta.
They had to go to the monitor, get an extra look. That's what the technology is for, and this touchdown will count. Extra point up and good by Tavecchio, and it's now 21-7. So that drive spanned 5 plays, and the Falcons score to cap it off. Now after the touchdown, it's Bosher to kick it away. This is fielded at the goal line. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. We're under 20 seconds to go in the half. I'm guessing the wise play here is be safe.
That is the wise play because if you think about trying to fool them here, here's what you're facing. You're facing a loosened up secondary, playing a lot deeper than normal. So even if you run some type of misdirection, you're only going to fool them for a second or so. And guess what? They're so deep, they're really not going to be out of position. Take the knee, get to the locker room.
And he'll just push his way forward for a few as the clock will run. In on the tackle, Devondre Campbell, Falcons leading tackler in 2018. So we are at halftime here in the opener of the 2019 regular season as we send you down to Orlando where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports halftime report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. And welcome back to football, everybody. We've got a full slate of 16 games here to start the new season. So let's take our first trip around the NFL. We begin up in Charlotte, where the defending NFC champs pay a visit to Carolina. And it's the Rams who have the lead in the second quarter. 2 touchdown passes there for Jared Goff. From there, we fly north to Cleveland to check on the Browns at home at First Energy Stadium. And you can see they have the lead over the visiting Tennessee Titans. Baker Mayfield with a couple of touchdown passes. Finally, let's get to Philadelphia. Check on the Eagles at home at Lincoln Financial Field. And it's the visiting Washington Redskins who have the lead in that one. Josh Dotson, a touchdown reception. In the game you're watching, it's who else? Tom Brady with a strong first half. He's thrown for over 200 yards already, and his guys have the lead as well. As we get you back to Brandon Gaudin.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Atlanta now coming out on the field. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly because what you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, in fact, you can take the spirit away from another team, that their drive and will to come back and win can be taken with another score right here.
Still third quarter, but you just get that feel.
Yeah, they're teetering right there on the brink, aren't they?
Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. On the right side, caught by Green. And I think the ball's out, but this will fortunately wind up out of bounds.
I don't know about you, but I could hear and feel the sigh of relief all the way up here in our booth.
That was palpable. The sideline, the friend there.
No doubt about it. If the ball goes over the sideline, able to retain possession, no turnover. I know his coaches are screaming, just hang on to the ball, man.
Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. From the gun, it's Brady. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And he's got this down to the 35. Another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last 2 plays.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice gain.
And inside the 20 before he's brought down. A good gain again. That's now 31 yards combined on those last 2 plays.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
Gurley again here on first down. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
I know flashy plays, splashy plays, as people like to call them, that attracts a lot of attention. But let's face it, when you're efficient,
and he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. A 9-yard touchdown there. And the Falcons will add on to their lead. Always important to get the first score of the second half. Now you start to pull away a little bit and get some breathing room going.
And now we find out about the fortitude of the group that's behind, because they were counting on getting into the game a little bit more, right? Maybe they get the first score. That doesn't happen. It looks almost insurmountable, but it's not. Let's see how hard they play the rest of the game.
To Vecchio to add the PAT. He knocks it through. It's 28-7. So that winds up a 7-play drive all told. And the end result, an Atlanta touchdown. Now after the touchdown, it's Bosher to kick it away. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. It's the Vikings' turn on offense. We get ready for their first possession of the second half. And their halftime hole now even deeper, and they need a big drive here just to answer the first touchdown of the second half scored against them.
They were down at the half. Now, as you mentioned, they're down a little bit bigger, but no time for discouragement. Just got to get back to it, right? Put your shoulder against the boulder and start pushing and try and get back to where you were to start the half.
Calling a loss of 2 on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 12.
That play was well covered. Just tried to check it down. Unfortunately, we're not able to find any yardage on that one.
2nd and 12 after the first down pass play went backwards for 2 yards. Cousins now. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's 2nd down.
Even without a ton of pressure in his face, it just shows how difficult it is to pick apart his own defense. Those guys are sitting back, and they're not playing receivers as much as they're playing the eyes of the quarterback and when he delivers the ball.
And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49. A pickup of 24 on the 3rd down conversion. He's such a good route runner. Shows it there on 3rd down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL? The better a route runner you are, the more confidence your guy's going to have in you to go to you in important times because he can trust you being in the right spot, and they connected there and picked up a 1st down.
Throwing is Cousins, and this will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there, and it's 2nd down. We saw this a lot in the first half, and it continues. These receivers just not able to get much separation.
So that means they have to win the
Cook stripped. The ball's out. But a Viking was able to corral this one, and Minnesota will keep possession.
Wow. That ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. From the shotgun, it's Cousins. And he's got Kyle Rudolph. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. Last play, they got stuffed at the line. Different story here, over 20 yards.
His position, and he's listed as a tight end, but he certainly doesn't run like one, and that's what we're seeing more and more coming into the league. Those guys who can run, make plays after the catch, and gain that additional yardage.
And using that speed there to turn it into a pretty nice little game. Cousins now 5 straight completions here in this second half. 1st and 10. From the gun, here's Cousins. His throw incomplete. He was looking for his tight end there, Kyle Rudolph, and that'll bring up 2nd down.
Let's face it, if you want to get back into the game, these are the kind of throws you got to hit. He's wide open right there. Got to be able to get it. Don't you think?
And those are the throws that haven't been available to them every time he's dropped a pass. Yeah, that's a big miss.
Not too many offenses want to turn down long drives, but when you're down what they are, they've got to pay it off with some points.
Open man is Thielen. It's complete. And he's out of bounds. Almost gets to the 10. A first down for Minnesota. Cousins finding Thielen.
And another thing that makes a comeback route really effective is that oftentimes after you've made the initial move, receivers breaking away from the defensive back, and that makes it a really tough play to defend. A nice chunk of yardage picked up there.
Cousins now perfect since the second half started. 7 of 7. It's 1st and 10. Working out of the gun, Cousins. He's got it. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. An 11-yard touchdown. And the Vikings are able to cut into that deficit.
All the receivers in the league are plenty good enough. Otherwise, they wouldn't make it in the NFL. But the ones that go to the Pro Bowl, they have refined route running ability.
Bailey now for the extra point. It's up and good, and it's now 28-14. So that one a pretty time-consuming 10-play drive, and it's polished off by a Viking score. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. This fielded at the 2. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line.
Here we go.
Here comes the Atlanta offense now ready to take over here. They were able to extend their lead with an opening drive touchdown here in the third quarter, but that just got matched a moment ago.
So we know that what they discussed at the half worked. Now, what are the counters to that, right? You don't just run the same things over and over. Some do, but many will also show something.
And Gurley fumbled it. Gurley fumbles the football. It's loose. And the Vikings pick up the football. And his guys are going to take over at the 34-yard line.
The psychology of the game never ceases to amaze me because you would think there would never be a fumble from what we hear from coaches all the time, right?
And how much they practice not fumbling.
Practice it, preach it, talk about it all the time. You would think no one would ever turn it over. Yet they are humans out there running around, and we just saw another one.
Opportunistic by the defense. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Trying to fire up that running game with Dalvin Cook. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4. On 2nd down and 4, Cousins. Oh, he dropped it. They were looking for him in the middle third. He couldn't catch it. Now 3rd down.
On any passes in the middle of the field, anyone who's going after the football is going to be conscious that it's probably going to be contested, and often physically. Sometimes that leads to drops.
Complete to the right. This is Garcon. He's up to 70 yards receiving now as that last catch gets him a first down.
All that practice time came to fruition on that play. All those timing routes that they work on through training camp, OTAs, minicamp, and just regular season, they got it done on that one. An out cut, ball was delivered, and picked up the completion.
I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to come back to you.
A 10th carry in the game for Cook. And they get to him quickly here as he's stopped right around the 13. In on the tackle, Devondre Campbell, Falcons leading tackler in 2018.
That was a really nice play, able to stack that one up. When they get back in the huddle, he's got to tell his guys up front, great job. They kept people off of him, allowed him to run free and make the hit on the runner.
Filled the gap nicely, kept him to just a 1-yard gain. Kirk Cousins last year started all 16 games, but only led the Vikes to just one fourth-quarter comeback like he's trying to do here. He's got his man. It's taken in for a Viking touchdown. From 13 yards out. And the Vikings are able to make this a close game again.
A lot of people might call this backyard football. Sometimes just understanding who you've got out wide and who you're going to throw it to. Give him an opportunity to go up and make a play, even when contested. Looks like that one worked out pretty well. The trust factor, in effect.
Bailey got the extra point, and now things get a bit more interesting here in this fourth quarter. The drive summary that time, 5 plays. And it all culminates in a touchdown for Minnesota. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. This is taken at the 3. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line.
Let's go.
Here comes the Falcon offense now as they get set to take over here. Now, Charles, of course, you got to remember, last possession they fumbled. It led to a touchdown. One-score game here. Got to be careful.
And this is where coaching and training really comes into play, doesn't it? What does everyone say after an error? Next play, move on, next drive. That mantra has to come to the front. They've got to take care of business right here and act like the last series just didn't happen.
And never good on a pass completion there to go the wrong way. Lost yardage.
No, for some reason it seems to work better when you throw it downfield or you can move the ball downfield running it that way, doesn't it? But in this case, if you're the defensive guys, you're energized, executed well, and you caused a lost yardage play. That's going to feel good and look great in film.
So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. Brady going to throw. And they'll set up the screen to Gurley. And he's going to lose yardage and be backed up to the 25. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a 3rd down. And that screen there on 2nd down certainly didn't develop how they had hoped. Is that one they should have even tried, or is that one the quarterback sticks in his pocket?
I think the latter. I like what you said there, because trying is one thing. We can second-guess just about every call. But in this case, when you realize it is broken down, just throw it at the feet of your intended receiver so that no one can pick it off, right? You don't have the ball tipped up in the air, and you come back and try and pick up the...
And the ball is knocked out, but this will get out of bounds, so possession will stay the same. Just week 1, but already plenty of intrigue with the games going on, and this one no different as we come up on a 1st and 10. Throwing now is Brady. Green's got it over the middle. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect him to run the ball in this situation, Brandon. But with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
And they'll work this down to the 40-yard line. Tackled there. 12 yards there and a 1st down.
These guys are running offense like you drive. The pedal is down, stomp down. How about that? Back-to-back completions. They are rolling.
So much for being conservative and running that football. Brady's got his guys 1st and 10, and he's 4 for 4 now, throwing the ball to start the drive. Now Brady, and he rifles one incomplete. Austin Hooper, the intended receiver, and now it's 2nd down. He shook his head right when he released that throw. He knew it was going to be a little off target.
Yeah, the excitement got him on that one. Wasn't able to control the fact the receiver was open, and it would have been an easy throw.
He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down.
And this is why the head coach gets paid the big bucks. Look at where they are in this situation, partner. Do you throw the ball here in a long-distance situation? Do you run it again and trust your defense and make sure you take care of the ball and punt it away? What kind of options do you have here, and what do you trust more on your team?
Yeah, they may have just pushed him back into that throwing situation. We'll see. Here's Brady to throw, and the throw there going to be incomplete.
Had an open man that time, but ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely. Just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. Here's Matt Bosher now as he's on to punt for Atlanta.
Let's go, baby.
Now the Vikings offense works their way back onto the field. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
Cousins. He's got the connection over the middle to Diggs. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. Successful start to the drive, 17 yards, and moves the sticks. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. Now Cousins. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And he'll be tackled right on the chalk of the 45. Another good completion on the drive as the Vikings have a first down.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
Now a pass hauled in downfield. He'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. A very nice pickup of 33 yards.
They absolutely had to take some chances downfield trailing here in the fourth quarter.
So why not go 4 verticals, send the guys downfield, say make a play?
And that's one of the favored routes of offensive coordinators. You know why? Because receivers can be open at any point running that route.
So the big play gets them all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. Throwing, Cousins. It's caught by Garcon. Give him a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tough for guys trying to get to the football.
3rd down, Dalvin Cook. And they're going to lose some on this play. Being knocked back to the 18. That'll back him up 2 yards and also bring up 4th.
It's a tough one right there. He ran right into the teeth of the blitz as the linebacker was freed up in order to stuff that one for a loss. I think quarterbacks got to see that. Got to find a way to audible into something a little more advantageous.
One score down. Here we go. They're going to go for it here on 4th down. Now Cousins on 4th down. And Thielen's got it. Touchdown Vikings. Adam Thielen. Already his 2nd touchdown here in this opening weekend. And the Vikings are an extra point away from tying this thing up.
I know Paul Revere talked about by land or by sea, right? You know, 1 by land, 2 by sea. He didn't mention air because right now we're seeing a big-time performance, aren't we? That's 2 touchdowns so far in this game.
Where'd you pull that one from?
And, you know, every now and then I actually listened in history class.
And you're just a scholar all the way around. You're reading all the time. I like that you fit that into the broadcast.
You know, I just grab a nugget when I can.
Don't forget the extra point. It's up and good. And, partner, we've got a tie game here in the 4th. So that drives 7 plays in length. And it's polished off by a Viking score. So right back to square one. Tied at 28 as he kicks it away. Fielded about a yard deep. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. So out come the Falcons now. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
That throw good for 4. It's second down. Getting down to the good stuff. All tied with 2 minutes remaining on EA Sports. So it's Falcon football as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Now Brady gets away with one. Lucky, could have been intercepted, but it falls to the ground. Green once again the intended receiver, but now it'll be third down. Brady now to throw. And that is incomplete. The way he's throwing the football today, almost a surprise when he doesn't complete a pass like happened there, but he needs a few more to get his guys downfield.
Well, the way he's thrown it leads him to believe that he's going to get those completions, and that means the guys going out for passes, they'll run even harder because they expect it as well.
On fourth down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. And you see Dalvin Cook and the offense heading back out. So after that hot start, the numbers here show the decline. What has the defense done adjustment-wise?
Sometimes when you have a running back who's getting off to a hot start, you've got to catch him before he really gets going. So you change what you do across the defensive front. Instead of the linebackers being back a few yards, you bring them up closer. It's what we call mugging the line of scrimmage, taking away a lot of blocking angles and gaps, and maybe stopping him before he can get going.
Mugging the line of scrimmage, okay.
Yeah, in this case.
They're throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete.
Work with me, partner. Take a deep breath, because that's what they're doing down the field now. That incompletion allowed them to exhale a little bit. Get in the huddle, kind of scan the crowd, see if any celebrities are here. Relax a little bit as they start this big drive.
23 yards the pickup there. And with that last play, he's now up over that 300-yard mark.
And in today's NFL, it almost feels routine. And I hate that when you talk about a 300-yard passing game. To me, 300 yards still signifies excellence, and he's achieved that in this performance.
Some good games going on in the early window. This might be the best of the bunch. First down, here's the run with Cook. And he loses the football a second time. And the Falcons grab it. And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. And my, how the tables have turned after that play. And you know what? You think back to 1978. Little history lesson here. Take us through it, Charles. You remember that.
I remember it well. Trying to run out the clock. The Giants, Joe Pisarcik trying to hand off to Larry Zonka. The ball goes on the ground, and Herm Edwards picks it up. What do we call that?
Look it up, kids. The miracle at the Meadowlands. Tavecchio good on the extra point. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. The scoop and score, always an exciting play in football, and we witnessed it there. Grabbing it off the ground and then rumbling it into the end zone for 6. So here's the kickoff now as he'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. This is taken at his 4. And he'll take this one near the 25, call it the 26-yard line. So Cousins and the Vikings down by 7, a little over 80 ticks to go. They need a touchdown and the PAT to tie it as they come up 1st and 10. Back to throw. He'll find Thielen working the middle. A gain of 6 there on 1st. Counting down toward a minute to go in this football game. He'll look to throw. Over the middle, and it's incomplete. This defense has watched their lead dwindle away. This is where they really need to bow up. They executed well there.
And it's often hard after you've played really well early, and then you kind of relax a little bit, to step on the gas again. They just did it on the last play. Looks like they want to finish this one off.
And now the 3rd down throw incomplete as well. Nearly an interception. If that one's picked off, it's over. So a new lease on life, so to speak.
A lot of times when you're in coverage, you're so focused on the man and the coverage that sometimes the ball, if it arrives, it surprises you. That may have happened to him in that situation.
4th down, Cousins. Throw left side on target to Thielen. And able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40. They keep the game alive, at least for the moment, as it's a 1st down. Looking for a seam, but finding none. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
Mike 5-9, Mike 5-9. Hey, let's get this.
On play action, Cousins. And complete, right side, the tight end Rudolph. Now the Vikings will use the 2nd of their timeouts as they stop it with 22 ticks to go in the 4th. Back to throw. Looking for the end zone. And that's going to be incomplete. 12 seconds left. So after the incompletion, 2nd and 10 from the 22. Here's Cousins. That is caught at the 7. And now with 6 seconds remaining, they're going to burn their final timeout. A looming decision to make on the conversion, down 7. But first things first, they need to score as they come up on 1st and goal. Cousins to throw. And his ball is caught. It's a touchdown. And now in the final seconds, they're a PAT away from likely getting this thing to overtime.
And that touchdown means a decision has to be made. Do they kick the PAT and tie it up, or do they go for 2 and try and win it right now?
Here's Bailey now for the extra point. And a timeout comes in. The whistles blow with 3 seconds remaining. Extra point try by Bailey. And he has got it. So barring something crazy on the kickoff, we're looking at an extra period to decide this one. That time, a 9-play drive. And it all culminates in a touchdown for Minnesota. Fielded about a yard deep.
Good one, boys. Let's go.
4 quarters not enough. We're all even, and to overtime we go.
How much fun is this for everyone who's watching the game? How much fun is it for us to see this one get an extra period to get settled?
And here in overtime, if the team that receives the ball scores a touchdown, it's over. If they don't, we can still have some more football.
That's exactly right. If they go down and kick a field goal, the other team gets a possession to either match it or score a touchdown to win the ball game. If both teams kick field goals, the next team to score wins. But if the receiving team throws a pick 6 or fumbles the ball and it gets picked up by the defense and they score, the game is over at that point.
This is taken at his 4. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. Atlanta now coming out on the field. Except for their first drive here in overtime. And this is where the crowd can really become a factor.
They've had to battle it all day, but I know what you're saying. In overtime, that gets doubled, doesn't it? At least, because now the crowd really wants to be involved and help their team. And that first drive can dictate the whole thing because they know if this team takes it downfield and scores a touchdown, it's game over.
It's been loud in here so far. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down. Short gain there to start overtime.
Almost a tester play, wasn't it? Wanted to see if the guys on defense were going to fit the gaps the correct way because we're in overtime. So it's not just physical tiredness out there, right? Mentally, are you still doing what you're supposed to do? And they were up to the task on that.
And Owen coughed it up, and the Vikings pick up the football. And some room to maneuver. And he brings it back to the house. It's a touchdown, and in a crazy inning, a defensive score wins it. Catching our breaths from that electric finish. You get into overtime, that's one thing. It was a great 4 quarters. But then in OT, not only to win it, but to win it on a defensive score. Wow.
Oh, definitely. And I think from now on, we're going to definitely travel someone who can help us, because I thought I was going to pass out at the end. Not just getting to the overtime, but the plays in overtime that led to this one, and to finish it on a defensive touchdown, a takeaway that gets into the end zone. I'm not rooting for anyone, but boy, I love to see games finish that way.